Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. It is a snowy Saturday here, and kind of taking a break from customer projects, and I have to get some emergency brake shoes relined. And this is pretty much what a lot of them look like when they come off the transfer case, soaked in oil. This one's right down to the rivets. This one's so thin right there it started to just break. So you guys that are buying these, you probably know that for some reason they're terribly expensive. I don't know why, but even dealers and stuff, we got to pay a premium for these things. And I'm kind of fed up doing that, so I started doing some research on some brake lining material that would be grease resistant, wouldn't absorb water, would be easy to work with. You could bond it or rivet it. And I talked to a lot of different companies, and I got the runaround from a lot of guys. They would send me samples, and it wouldn't be anything that would be worthwhile using. And I finally got together with a German company that makes some very nice brake lining material. Here's a piece of it right here. And it's flexible. It can be bonded. It can be riveted, which I'm going to do. And won't absorb water. Super grease resistant. We did ran all the numbers about braking force and feet per minute that it can handle. But like I say, these are just emergency brake shoes, so it's not like you're going to be on them all the time. But it's a very nice brake lining. I get it in long rolls, and not long ago I picked up a couple of brake riveting machines, and I'll show you how that works. But for right now, this is how the shoes come off. They're usually pretty rusty, grimy, crappy. I clean them up, give them a coat of epoxy, and that one is nice, clean, and in black epoxy. We'll lay this out. Like I say, it's very flexible. Lay this out, get the holes drilled in it, and I'll show you how we rivet these together. Okay, hang in there, and I'll be back with you in just a little bit, and I'll show you the process for getting the linings riveted to the original Bendix metal shoe. Okay, the first thing I do is I take an old shoe and I lay it on like that, and then I can mark each end of it so I know exactly where to put my new shoe on there. And then I cut a length of this stuff. And I've just got some spring clamps here. And I buy this stuff in the actual width that I need. This is 1 3/4 inches wide, and the factory shoe was 3/16 of an inch thick. And I was able to order exactly what I needed from these guys. They were super helpful. And the next thing I'm going to do is I have just a tiny little, I don't know if you can see that, it's a little 1/16 inch bit. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark all these with just a tiny bit. Then I'm going to go through there. This stuff is easy to cut. It's easy to work with. When I cut it to length, I just shear it over on the Beverly shear. It's easy to do. You can cut it with a razor knife, actually. I have a woodworking Forstner bit here. Makes a nice flat bottom hole. So we'll go 90 thousandths into the material, and it's halfway through. We'll make a flat bottom hole. Then we'll come back in. We use a 9/64 diameter rivets, and we'll come through with a 9/64 drill and pop the through hole, and Nothing really scientific about this, just trying to get the rivet below the surface. And you really want to be accurate in your hole sizing. You don't want the rivets slopping around in there or anything. So use the right size drills, and that's all there is to it. So I'll get busy with this, and I'll show you parts of it along the way, if I can't, if I can stay out of the camera. But I'm going to drill this now, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, I'm going to go through with this 16th inch bit. I'm going to center it right in the hole. And I'm just going to pop little holes through there. That way I know on the other side where to start my drill. And you could search around out there and you could find new old stock replacement shoes and rivets sometimes. They're out there. I know a few guys that had a bunch. I don't know if they still have them, but they're out there. But sometimes they're getting more for the actual new old stock linings than you can buy an actual set for. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but what I have is a bunch of little holes there. You see that all right? I think so, yeah. See all those little holes there? Now that is going to accept this bit right here. That'll register in there and it won't walk around. And then I've measured and I have a little witness mark on there. So I only go down about 90 thousandths. And that's the next step. So I'll get working on that and show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, I'm going to try and show you guys how nice this stuff drills. Try and stay in the camera here. It drills very nice. And there's no asbestos in here, and there's no harsh chemicals or anything. Okay, that's where we're at now. We have our countersink in there. Rivets will sit down nice in there. This is a non-metallic lining. The metallic stuff, we talked about that. We would discuss that, but it just wasn't going to suit what I wanted it to do. These are in a harsh environment. Transfer cases sometimes leaking, and I wanted the best non-oil absorbing shoe I could find, so that's why I picked this one. And the metallic ones are just I thought they were just too aggressive, and they were easily soaking up oil when I did a few tests on them. And as soon as they get slick with the oil, they don't hold at all. So that's why I decided on this. Okay, now we've got our through bit. It's 9/64 like the rivet. We just pop a little bit bigger hole in there. It doesn't take much. Okay, now we'll head over to the rivet machine and I'll show you how we get those rivets set. We're using the brass brake rivets, semi-tubular. I've got the riveter set up, so I'll head over there and show you what that looks like next. Okay guys, there's the rivet machine. It's got a shoe grinder on the back there. It's got a rivet cutter in the front, and then right there you can see that's what's going to upset our rivet. I tried for a couple days to get that rivet cutter working and figured out how to use it, but it gave me nothing but grief. So I just drill the rivets out now with an appropriate size drill. You can see I got a few more shoes to do there, and it's a little tray that holds the different rivet sizes. But for right now, we're using a 9/64 rivet, and it is 9/32 long. And I'll try and get you a close-up of that. I'll go grab the shoe, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. That's what the rivet looks like. That's a brass brake lining rivet. It's got a big head, semi-tubular. I have the correct rivet set in there to take that rivet and roll it over. That's what a rivet looks like. It's recessed down in there. So we get one in there. I like to start in the middle and work to the ends. I've just got my clamps on for the first one. So the rivet head fits on this. You could take this out, and there's different sizes here. So that supports the rivet head. And then it's foot operated. You line this up with your center of your rivet set and give it a step. And that rolls the rivet over perfectly. I hope you can see that. Let me leave that there and check it out. Hang in there with me. Okay, it rolls it over perfectly, just like that. So you can see the bendix in the shoe, in the metal shoe there. Like I say, I use original shoes when I do this, and if they're in rough shape, I don't use them. But usually, you could sandblast them or clean them up and put some epoxy primer, and they'll be good for a long time. So there's 8 rivets in each lining here. So we'll just put another in. We'll get that lined up. Step on it. And that's what that's going to look like. So I'll get the other ones in, and I'll meet you over at the bench and show you what it looks like when it's all finished up. Okay, there is a set of riveted shoes. I think you can see the rivets in there. And they are perfectly rolled on that side. So these should give years of good service, as long as we keep our seals good and our we put the correct lube in our transfer case and transmission and stuff. We shouldn't have any leaks. And this is the first set that I did. I'm going to put them on a transfer case, pull the lever and see how they hold. I already did a lot of testing with oil to see how it would soak in there, and this is very nice lining material, very water resistant, super oil resistant, and they feel like they're going to be real nice and should be long lasting. And with the rivet machine, we could easily get professional results like that. Those are nice tight rivets. None of them move around or anything. They're really in there properly. So just a quick one today. I just wanted to show you guys, you can buy little benchtop machines to rivet your brake shoes. It's not that hard. If you feel like taking the extra mile for your restoration or something, for short money you could buy one of benchtop machines. You can buy lining material and rivets. There's a lot of different rivet companies that have this. You could buy linings from a lot of different Jeep retailers, and you can play around with it. You could go out there and talk to different people and see if you want to change your change your makeup here like I did, this is a perfect application for an emergency brake. There may be something better for your actual wheels, but that's what a roll of that stuff looks like. Get a whole bunch of relines out of that. But just depends, you know. The stuff coming out of a lot of retailers is garbage now. Some of the shoes I've seen, I've been pretty disappointed in them. So if you want to do it yourself, it's not that hard. Like I say, get a benchtop machine. You can sometimes pick up these foot operated machines at tag sales and things like that. Not a lot of people use them anymore. So just want to show you guys another way of doing things. So it's been a crazy week here. Still making panels for that early tool slot body. I had some trouble on the floor yesterday, but I have a video started. I'll show you how we started rolling some beads in there. Something you could easily do at home. And I have a lot of videos ready to go. I just don't have them edited yet. So just putting out a short one today. And I'll be back next week with a few more projects. The F-head we're making a little progress on that rebuild. And we have that GPW motor that should come out of the cleaning tank. We'll clean that up and see if we can't get that motor sorted out a little bit. It was put together incorrectly by the last guy. So a lot of things happening, but like I say, I always appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for that, and I will catch you on the next video.